Yeah, because you got to understand part of his mistakes. Some of them he didn't have pay the ultimate price because they were able to get the ball back, right? I recall a play in which he rolls out. He's trying to extend a play. He's rolling out to his left, way behind the line of scrimmage, and there's a defensive end or linebacker that's trailing him. As opposed to throwing the ball away, the guy comes from behind them, strips the ball out of his hand, and it rolls out of bounds for an extreme loss of yardage. That play could have turned to a touchdown. It could have turned to a turnover on downs right then and there. But I think it was like a third and 19 or something like that, all because he did not get rid of the football. That is once that's to me forcing something. You're trying to force something. You're trying to make something that's not there. And that continues to be that was something that he showed earlier this year. And made mistakes. He made mistakes even in games they win, like Penn State, like that. Where in Maryland, right? You remember those tough hits, unnecessary hits he took against Maryland. So, blank name. That's not like something that was new that game. And him trying to do too much, right? If you don't think any of their interceptions were forced, okay. But from the angle that I was watching, the all 22 angle, the first interception, it was a pretty tight window. Is there a throw that he can make? Sure. But it was, and also a pretty good read by the safety or nickel. But still, that's a risky throw, and he tried and he got burned for it. And a second interception, there's no excuse for not seeing someone. That goes back to you reading. So just because he did
There's
not
only
see
11 guys on
somebody,
the field. There's only there's
right, right,
only
right, right.
11 of
It's
them.
up to you as the
But
quarterback to read those things. And once again, it sounds like we're piling on him. By no means am I putting this whole game on JJ McCarthy, but he is the quarterback and he made some critical mistakes that has to be discussed, and that has to be something that he drastically improves on um, for this team to go forward next year.
yeah, and I think especially with the last one, like you can't stare down your receiver. Like you cannot do that
No,
again, even against a good defense. Uh, you can't do that, and it just sounds like Blake Name is just going to make excuses for JJ no matter what. And that's fine.
he's
That's
here every
okay.
week though,
But
and normally he's not really. He's more on our side, especially in terms of he's a little bit more critical of Michigan too, and maybe that's just his guy JJ. But and me, I think JJ still has a chance to be really good. The potential is there for the kid, but he has a lot to work on. He really
yeah,
does.
mainly his eyes. Like his eyes,
Mechanics,
he's got
his
to do better
decision
with his
making,
eyes.
his reading. For God's sakes, he never pulls the freaking football. It just seems like he's like, okay, where's Donovan? Where's Blake? Okay, hand it off. He's not even reading if the defensive end's crashing or not. It's like there's a lot
Do
that
you
he has to
think do
work
you think
on.
there's anything to, and I just thought of this as we were kind of talking. Do you think there's anything to, cuz think about it. The only football game you lost last year in the regular season was Michigan State. And he had
Yeah.
two fumbles in that game, lost one on a read option that he
One, he got lucky, went out
probably
of
shouldn't
bounds
have
or
shouldn't have
recovered.
even kept on the
Right.
one that they lost. You think there's anything to that where he's just scarred of like, oh man, I need to just hand it off. I don't know.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's not like this is, you would think, I know he had to run that in high school, so this shouldn't be a new concept for him knowing how to do a read option. It just shouldn't be a new concept. I mean, you learn how to read that in high school. So of course that guy's a lot faster and bigger, but I don't know. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, and then it's weird. I don't want to say the coach are telling him to do that because that would defeat the purpose of a read option. But then again, you watch something like, guys, excuse me if you hear my daughter in the background. She's excited like I am. But in the second half, he started to pull it. He pulled it more, and he was really effective with his legs. I don't know if that was the coach's staff saying, "Hey, it's time." So were you holding him back the whole time? I don't know, man. It's just it's just a lot's going to be on the shoulders. And when you're the quarterback, you get criticized when you make mistakes, and you get praised when you do things well. And guys, I think it's okay to say, man, hey, this kid has to be a lot better because he can be better. It'd be one thing if he was capped out and, I felt like this is the best you're going to get. I think there is another level or two that JJ can get to because the raw ability is there, but he has to do a lot of fine tuning. And, Biggs, Mike said something about, was his first year as a full starter. Let me explain something, man. Once you are in the bowl game, you're no longer to me inexperienced. You've played an entire season. An entire season. You are a veteran there. then at that point in time. That's not inexperience. And it's not like he didn't play it all last year. He got playing time last year. By the time that bowl game happened, he was an experienced quarterback. And I don't know. It's interesting, man. I don't know why you guys are getting so defensive, and it's not only here, but on Twitter too. People get really defensive when it comes to JJ because you can't be critical of him. It's like I'm not saying the kid should be gone. I like
Right.
him. I think he's very talented. Me and Des have spoken about, hey, I can't wait till the draft is here in Detroit because, maybe we get to go down and experience JJ McCarthy being drafted #1 overall. That's how we view his raw potential. So if you guys think that we're just bagging on him, saying he's untalented trash, that's not the case here. But best believe you can't excuse or overlook the mistakes he made because one, they are inexcusable, right? And two, they incredibly hurt the team in the biggest spot. And it's okay to say that and just hope that the kid improves upon it.